Welcome to Bridgeway Talks once again. We have been doing Bridgeway Talks over the last few months with some of the influential people in Kerala, and we have been quite successful in talking to them, understanding from them what they are all about. And this Bridgeway Talks is not about what we sell or what we want to sell or what we want to promote. It's all about what Kerala is all about. And today we have somebody who I personally wanted to be when I started a career in the automobile industry. I have an automobile industry career of almost 25 years right now, worked with multiple brands, worked with various verticals within the automobile industry. I always wanted to be the person who I am going to talk to today. Usually he interviews people and understands more about them. But today we have the privilege of asking him a few questions on what he is all about. He gets to drive all the cars across the world before when it comes on the road. He gets to not only cars, I understand he does bikes, he does heavy equipment, he does trucks. He's got one of the biggest YouTube channels which cater to the automobile field in Kerala. And we are so glad and we are so happy today to have him with us on Bridgeway Talks. He's none other than Mr. Hani Musthafa.
Hi.
Hello, sir. Welcome to Bridgeway Talks.
Hello. Thank you so much.
It's a privilege to have you. As I said in my beginning statement, I wanted to be you.
Oh,
25 years back when I started a career in automobile. And I honestly don't know anything else other than automobile. If somebody asks me to do something else, I'm absolutely zilch at that. Okay. And I always wanted to do something what you have done. But I think over a period, I'm sure over a period, you have also evolved in this space of doing what you're doing. Yep. Just give us a brief about how all these began, where it all began, and when you see back, do you regret things that you have done? Do you enjoy doing what you're doing? So just give us a brief about that.
Okay, thank you so much for having me in Bridgeway Talk. As you know, as most of them know, I'm very connected to your group, from the chairman to all of their sons. Yeah. And it's like an extended family for me. Right. Always. And mostly I meet the elder son when I'm in Dubai. So it's like it's a regular set of people organizing this. So it's always a pleasure to be here. And as you asked me, of course, I'm doing what I really love, because, my love for automobile made me over here. Okay. If you are saying that you want to be in this show sometime and maybe you wanted to interview me, means it's all like, it's actually an achievement for me, because, when you are recognized in what you do is the biggest success comes, right, not any other awards or anything. Right. And it all began from my childhood only. Like, I'm very fond of automobile. As you rightly mentioned, it's not just car for me. Right. I love two-wheelers. I love heavy equipments. And for me, trucks are more than anything for me, because I love heavy vehicles. So that way, it's all about automobile. Not even that. I love big liner, ships, even aircraft, even though I don't fly. But I like to learn about that. So anything which moves excites me, yeah. So having said that, as usual, like any of the boys of my era, we all were fond of cars and other things. But I realized about my deep-rooted passion on this way later, because I done my graduation in business studies, and after that management in post-graduation. That time I was thinking, like, even my passion was a childhood desires and like kiddish basically. Yeah. But when I was doing my some course in Bangalore, and after my graduation, I realized I literally wanted to do something in automobile. So initially I thought of doing a part-time job like a sales executive in one of the dealership in Bangalore, but that didn't work, because I realized, again, I'm not a great salesman. But one point of time I got an opportunity to write, which is one turning point in my life, where I realized, okay, I can review a vehicle with my experience past, like building up my vehicle, being in workshop for a long time, even like working there, not as a job, but as a passion. All this put together, I knew I can diagnose a vehicle very thoroughly. So that is what actually required when you do a review. So that helps me to pick up this career as a freelancer. Like
Wow.
I was doing his free
Very
time.
nice,
Like
very nice.
I was into my dad's business initially. But later, when a point came where I started my TV show in Surya TV in 2010, while I celebrating my 50th episode, we had a small gathering with friends and fellow,
Yeah.
other journalists and all. So that moment, on my speech, I was just mentioning about what I am from my inside. That's the time when even my parents, or I was able to convince my parents that I'm really an automotive guy.
Wow.
So that moment, my dad only told me, if you want to develop your passion seriously, then you'll have to move from business.
Yes.
Again, a bigger turning
Absolutely.
point. That I took the challenge, and it was not in this glamour form when I started.
right.
Of course, on screen it was glamorous, but on the other
Lot of
part,
hard work.
exactly. When you are a married man, two kids who are going
Yeah.
to school that time, it was not an easy job
yeah.
to
Absolutely.
make this as a career.
Absolutely.
But find out the method to make money out of it in a right way, in ethical sense. That's when actually another turning point came, when my partners joined, another turning point. And when I was recognized nationally, when I started my TV show in English, there's a bigger turning point because I was getting into the canvas of national
Yes,
automotive
yes,
guys,
yes.
where I became a juror of ICOTY, India Car of the Year, for 2 years. But later, like again, my craving to be something in this is always there, and that fire in me was always on. So which led me to think of broader sense, like to global sense,
Right.
where actually I was targeting myself into mid of my 40s, which still not reached. I'm early 40s. So that's the time when I was like thinking like I should be part of the World Car Awards.
Right.
But surprisingly, I was honored to be a juror way back, way earlier, like in
Yeah.
2018. I became one of the jurors of WCOT, which was one of the biggest turning point, and I would say a crown feather to my crown, because
Yeah.
being part of one of the most recognized body, and that too globally, is something a big achievement for a person
Yes.
who built the career over their passion.
Right. Right. Right.
So now I'm that, and glad.
I think well said. I think the entire career, and I think that shows a lot of passion. I think from the words what you said also, I think it emits a lot of passion. And my next question was, how? I think you're the only South Indian to be part of the World Car of the Year juror thing. How did that happen? How did because it's like the Oscars of cars.
Absolutely. That's a right form.
Yeah, so you have the Oscars, and one movie gets nominated for the Oscars. You know how big it is.
Absolutely.
Right. So I'm just putting in perspective in Oscars so that our viewers come to know how big World Car of the Year is. So now, how did that happen? How did the World Car of the Year happen?
Okay, so that again, as I mentioned earlier, it was quite a big surprise for me. I was in Seoul for a fam trip with one of the brands, and our good friends from the national media like Siddha Patenga, Renuga Kriplani, and Hormas was part of the jury. Then they were in the trip. So one day, the second day, I guess, Siddharth told me like I need to talk to you, and Renuga also joined. We were talking about. There's an opening, one more seat available in WCOT, which is allocated for India. And they are supposed to nominate few people to that. Not only one, they have to give at least 3. So they said like, we would like to nominate you as one of the person, and 2 other nomination, queries already been there, that we're putting up them. They said it won't be like us selecting, not even a person from the juror selecting. KPMG, the auditing firm, would be selecting you on basis of your reach and your credential and everything. So I was like, yeah, I know my credential is strong, but I'm not aware like whether I'll be getting it or not. But at least being considered was a big thing for me. Actually, next Seoul trip, after a few months, I am getting a confirmation from KPMG as a mail that you've been selected as a juror. So it was like I haven't had any hint I've been getting in that, but I was informed that you've been shortlisted. That I knew.
Okay.
But it's a big surprise, and the surprise, the fruitness of that surprise increased when I got to know there was no personal intervention in selecting me. It was all done by KPMG based on my credential and my reach in this South region.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Brilliant.
So
Absolutely
that happened
brilliant.
like that.
Absolutely brilliant. So we are so happy that we have a Malayali Keralite from India representing a World Car of the Year, and I think well deserved. I think absolutely well deserved. I think it's
so much.
what do you say, more than an accolade. I think it's a well-deserved. As you rightly said, KPMG doing their due diligence, finding about you, and without any kind of maliced intentions. I think very well deserved, sir. I think it's so. We are so proud of you to
Thank
be
you
part
so
of
much.
this thing. Now, getting back to our Indian scenario, where do you see our Indian luxury car business reaching in the next probably, if say, a decade or so? Because I have seen over the last so many years, today I think acceptability of luxury cars have increased.
Yep.
From where it was, I think, 10 years back, 15 years back, why would I buy a Mercedes? Why would I buy a BMW? Why would I spend that kind of money?
Yeah.
But today, I think that has changed. I think it has changed to people wanting more and more of luxury products, luxury goods. So where does this going to change in the next 5-10 years?
So, having said that, I realized one fact that India is one of those population which have the most young population, youngsters, and moreover the young entrepreneurs. So we have one of the strongest young entrepreneur profile and those are the guys who want to experiment.
Right.
They're the one to take risk. The startup numbers in India are very high. So all this put together, these are the customers who are going on to luxury in future.
Yes.
So like I used to say, when my audience were youngsters then, I'm actually building up an audience which are like lasting for a long time, because they are getting into their 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s, means still then like they will be interested in cars.
Correct.
Likewise, those young entrepreneurs who are just budding up into luxury segment will be matured enough and their business might be growing strongly. They'll be the ones who will be catering into luxury cars more.
Right.
And there was a calculation which I don't know, it's an official, but there was a prediction of India being one of the strongest luxury car market by 2020.
Right.
But that numbers haven't reached anywhere because of the taxation we had. Because once one of the budget, there was a drop in car manufacturing excise duties and all. So that time there was a small hike happened in auto luxury car segment.
Right.
But realizing some of the political aspects, I think the government implemented more tax for the luxury car, which dropped the sale again.
Right.
So entire calculation of all the brands, like including Mercedes or BMW or maybe like some of the very selective brands, have dropped.
Right.
They were not be in a big numbers, but they were having a presence in India. Having said that, there is a slight improvement came up, then the improvement increased. Now I realize even the brand you represented, the top-end luxury segment is growing faster than the normal luxury segment.
Absolutely.
Because the spending nature has changed.
Yes.
Gradually, there is a huge spending in the top-end cluster of our economic stable.
Yeah.
And you can see not only in the cars, you take any of the, boutique brands like Louis Vuitton or maybe Gucci or anything of that kind. There's a huge increase in Indian population buying this.
Right.
So likewise, the increase in the number of Maybachs or Rolls-Royces, Bentleys are increasing in India.
Yeah.
Which means the top-end cluster is
definitely getting
stronger and stronger, which will reflect to the next level of luxury, which even will be like not an affordable one, the bigger one only, like the E-class or C-class. That segment also will be reflecting in the near future. So taking the next 10 years, India right now is the third largest automotive market in the world.
Right.
But the percentage of luxury car segment is not that great.
It's very low.
Yeah, even like as we were talking earlier, there is compared to one market like Seoul, the entire industry strength is half of that market.
Correct.
That for your brand.
Yeah.
So Mercedes entire sale in Seoul or South Korea is around 75,000.
75,000 cars.
We are nowhere there.
Yeah,
the entire market is not
entire market is low.
So, but we can reach there.
It's a sale of one dealer there.
Absolutely. So that potential is still to be explored, and that percentage is also changing.
Yeah.
If coming years, I don't know what the government policy will be. If there is a pro-government policies where business develop, industry develop, definitely there will be growth, because nowadays people spend to show what they are. So that will be increasing, and that luxury portfolio, my opinion, will be at least double by the 10 years.
Yeah, I think I totally double your opinion, because being in this industry for so long, I have realized one thing: the industry itself has evolved.
Yep.
Today I think it is no more I need to teach somebody what a Mercedes is or what are this thing. They know what the cars are. You know, it's only about the experience which I need to have for myself, which matters.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, and that's exactly, I think, resonating with what you said, that today the youngsters want to pick the best, buy the best, live the best.
True.
And I think older generations wanted to save money, newer generation want to live with the money. So I think that is where it is getting at. One last thing before we wind up our entire thing. What do you think about electric? How is, so now we have launched the EQS SUV, we launched the EQS SUV Meba, we launched the EQA recently, we launched the EQE, we have the EQB, you have a plethora of EQs coming out from our own portfolio. And you have, of course, you have the other manufacturers also coming out. Now, there are mixed reactions, you know. You speak to some people, they say, no, 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 no. Some people say, wow. So what do you think from your experience? Where is this heading to? Where is this EQ thing heading to?
So this has been the most common question I've been getting recently. Recently, I've been in a very small college in somewhere inside Kundoti.
Okay.
So I was inaugurating the Commerce Fest. So I know, like this, people coming from a very backward region.
Yeah.
So I was expecting some good questions from automobile. Never an question from a girl asking about an EQ or EV that way, because you know that penetration of EV is so much in the market. At least people are talking about that. EV is definitely a next step to the automotive industry, but still I would believe there will be a balanced ecosystem which will be following for the next 10 years at least.
Right.
Because it won't completely wash out the ice.
Right.
It is impossible.
Yeah.
A country like India, where the economy is not that strong,
right,
we can't completely rely on the infrastructure only for electric. Because take the example of Mumbai or Delhi or maybe any other metros. There is very less gated community there.
Right.
Most of them are staying in apartments. So overnight charging is quite a challenging.
Right.
And depending public charging for everything is not possible.
Yes.
One portion of that. Second portion is the USB, hardwares. I'm saying the hardwares has improved. You take Tata Tiago EV to something like an EQS Maybach. So there is no car with very less range.
Yeah, okay.
Decent range is there for anything. There are cars which 800 kilometer range which claimed, or maybe like there's already a Guinness record for you guys with the EQS. Having said that, range anxiety is coming down, not on the hardware. Hardware is coming down, but the range anxiety still exists because of this infrastructure. So what I feel is that considering EQ as Maybach or maybe EQ as SUV, the new one, amazing vehicle, great range, very practical, especially with the SUV form. EQS is very practical now. You don't have to worry about brushing the bottom. And the car is also very comfortable, mostly sorted, no other glitches. So that way, that part is sorted. On the other end, you have the smaller cars like the Nexon or Comet or all these cars. But you take the customer portfolio. Top-end customers who are driving EQS or maybe EQS Maybach, they are having a limited commute per day. They may be like in Kerala, the situation will be different because from Kasaragod to Toronto, we travel by road. Even then, a 1 day's commute will be around 500 kilometers, right? So in that case, your cars are capable enough. And they don't have to bother too much because most of the commute happen between this range. So that cluster, now high-end cluster, you can see an increase in the business like EQS, EQE. Take the BMW i7 or maybe your other counterparts. There will be an increase in the sale. And lower segment, people pick it because the convenience in terms of their pocket. City. Mid segment, it will take time. Because if you are like targeting an upcoming businessman whose commute is not actually defined, he may have to go visit one plant today. Sudden moment he'll have to go to a market. So in indefined route segments, they will not be able to plan their trip accordingly. So that city commute, all that public transport, all this become electric, which will be good to reduce the carbon emission, everything. And the top end segment, what they need, luxury, refinement, everything is also available. So that cluster will get stronger, but this cluster will be having a mix. Having said that, still people love to get that vibration sound. So So those people will stick on to
Yeah.
the bigger engines.
Yeah.
They don't mind about like polluting a little nature to satisfy themselves,
Yeah,
because they may be compensating with other things. There will
Right.
be a huge plantation for them.
Right.
So definitely electric is gonna evolve, but I still believe, or always believe, it's a phase of evolution.
Right.
It's another phase, but the constant change will keep on coming.
Yes.
And I think that other alternative will come.
Technology also should evolve
Yes.
into
Yes.
something very different, higher ranges and things like that. What next for Flywheel? What next for Hani Musthafa?
Okay,
After
great.
so many years, what next? We just want to know, what next?
It's like Flywheel and Hani Musthafa is almost same now, because
Yeah.
I live my life only for that now.
Fantastic.
Apart from that is only family.
Yeah.
So we are actually extending our operations to Middle East.
Okay.
So already started off with Gulf Madhimam.
Okay.
So we are now
Yeah, I
handling
saw
their
that, yeah.
automotive column.
Yeah.
It comes in print. It's been like 1 month now.
Yeah.
So all the 4 weeks we are given the content, and it's coming up very good. And next is like we are also have a tie-up with a Dubai-based media house called Kanawat Media.
Okay.
They're very strong in Arabic language. They have coverage from Morocco, Tunisia, and all the North Africa and Middle East.
Okay.
So with them, we are actually tying up to enhance our operations and expand the reach in Middle East, keeping up Indian reach. So you're not like exiting or moving away from the India, because
this is
we
the
know
base.
that there is a huge chunk of expatriates, Indians in Middle East.
Yeah.
And that includes Malayalis and non-Malayalis. So we are coming up with both English and Malayalam. Malayalam will be like continuing with the same portfolio of contents, plus additionally more on Middle East. English will be catering more on like Middle East content plus Indian, not all the Indian things, but exclusive stuff. But Middle East, I realized like when I go, I used to meet people. So they used to ask me about the cars which are sold there.
Right.
There are a lot of brands, especially Chinese, which are not sold in India.
Right.
So we are not getting an opportunity to give them a feedback. So when I tried out a few cars, I was also like excited to see how they've improved.
Right.
So I thought there's a potential for covering up some of their local cars for the rest of Malayali expatriates.
Correct.
That's my next.
That's a brilliant thought, because I think Middle East is where half of Kerala is. So you have majority of Kerala working in the Middle East, and as you rightly said, a lot of manufacturers which are there in the Middle East are not there over here. So
Exactly.
even your people in India would get to know a lot.
Moreover, see, I realized one fact that even in India, huge number, especially in Malayalis community and even Gujarati, Sindhi community, lot of decisions are made on car purchase are from Middle East.
Yes.
Because either that money is coming here or they are buying the car for their use.
Absolutely.
Or for the family. So that decision happened there.
Absolutely.
So we need to cover them.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for, it was a very short, but I think very enlightening session, and we wanted to do this. To be very honest, this is a 5th episode, and shooting of the 5th episode, we have gone live with 3 episodes.
Okay.
And at this point, I really would like to thank you for being here. Wishing you all the very best from the bottom of my heart, from Bridgeway. As you rightly said, you're very close to our family, the Bridgeway family, the chairman, the sons, the cousins, everybody. We wish you so much of happiness, so much of prosperity, and all best wishes to Flywheel and to you, sir. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me in Bridgeway.
Thank you. Bye-bye.